So we are going to learn Chula Sunyata Sutta. I have heard that on one occasion the Blessed One was staying at Savatthi in the eastern monastery, the palace of Migara's mother. Then in the evening, Venerable Ananda, coming out of seclusion, went to the Blessed One and on arrival, having bowed down to him, sat to one side. As he was sitting there, he said to the Blessed One, on one occasion, when the Blessed One was staying among the Sakyans in Sakyan town named Nagaraka, they are face to face with Blessed One. I heard this, face to face I learned this. I now remain fully in dwelling of emptiness. Did I hear that correctly? Learn it correctly, attend to it correctly, remember it correctly. Yes, Ananda, you heard that correctly. Learn it correctly, attend to it correctly, remember it correctly. Now as far as well as before, I remain fully in dwelling of emptiness. Just as this place of Migara's mother is empty of elephants, cattle and mares, empty of gold and silver, empty of assemblies of women and men, and there is this only emptiness, there is non-emptiness, the singleness based on the community of monks. Even so, Ananda, a monk, not attend to the perception of village, not attend to the perception of human being, attend to the singleness based on the perception of wildness. His mind takes pleasure, finds satisfaction, settles and indulges in the perception of wildness. He discerns that whatever disturbances that would exist based on the perception of village are not present. Whatever disturbances that would exist based on the perception of human beings are not present. There is only this modicum of disturbance, the singleness based on the perception of wildness. He discerns that this mode of perception is empty of the perception of village. This mode of perception is empty of the perception of human beings. There is only this non-emptiness, the singleness based on the perception of wildness. Thus, he regards it as empty of whatever is not there. Whatever remains, he discerns as present. There is this. And so this, his entry into emptiness, accords with the actuality, is undistorted in pure, in meaning and pure. So what it says is that, let's say a monk going for this alms round, and then when he is going there, that he would see there are women, and then also these, these cows and so on, and also there are this gold, silver in that village. So after the alms round, he is coming back to this forest room, whatever the place that he is staying, and then he is thinking that there aren't any these women over here. So it is empty because they are not there. But then there is this non-emptiness because monks are there. So there is this non-emptiness because of the monks. They are present. So whatever thing present, then you take it as not empty. Whatever thing is absent, then you take it as empty. So here it says, it accords with the actuality, is undistorted in pure and meaning, in meaning and pure. What is this undistorted mean? The undistorted is no perversions. You see, the monk went to the alms round, and then if he actually see a woman and they then think, okay, I saw a beautiful woman, and after coming to the temple, if he is still thinking and pondering, I saw a beautiful woman over there, that means he brought that woman to the temple from his mind. So then it is not empty. If he has done this mindfulness regarding the body, and then he is using this, it produces the foulness, So if he is with that idea and coming back with that understanding, then he did not bring any women or whatever it is. So therefore it is empty. So in other words, that means you got to have the mindfulness regarding the body. So not to have these perversions. Remember asubhe subha. While it is foul, we take it as fair. That has to be eliminated. And then Buddha is saying, further Ananda, the monk not attain to the perception of human being, not attain to the perception of wilderness, attain to the singleness based on the perception of earth. His mind takes pleasure, finds satisfaction, settles and indulges. That means it's a resolution in its perception of earth. Just as a bull's hide is stretched free from wrinkles with 100 stakes, even so, without attending to all the ridges and hollows and river ravines, tracks of stumps and thorns, the craggy irregularities of this earth, he attained to the singleness based on the perception of earth. So what it means is that, this monk is now thinking, now the temple has got a building. So the building is Patavi, element of extension. So the monks, whatever the, because of the monks it's not empty. So the monks are also element of extension. So now he's regarding that everything as element of extension. So it says that it's his mind. He takes pleasure, finds satisfaction, settle, and there is this resolution. So that means that he attained to this perception. This is only the 4 great elements. That it's actually, this time it is only the element of extension. He takes all the elements as one. The element extension, element of cohesion is also inside that one. So you can see something is hard over here, but you can actually boil it or, give it a higher temperature, then you get the liquid thing. So now you are considering that this is element of extension. The building is element of extension. Monks, that is the element of extension. It mind enters that one. Now it is like that, let's say husband and wife has been fighting, and then one person is going to the shrine room, and that is entering, and then after entering, then takes pleasure. You look at the Buddha statue, is pleasant, so takes pleasure on that one, and then finds satisfaction and settles over there. Let us say there is something, mitras or something, you sit down on that one, and then there is the resolution. Yes, what Buddha said is right. This life is suffering. Like that one, your mind enter to this, there is this, the perception of earth. That is only the element of extension. Dhatu. That is what it is looking at. And nothing more. So, Buddha is giving a good example. If you take a cow skin, you can see wrinkles are there. So if you use 100 pegs and stretch in 100 directions, and then there aren't any wrinkles like this Rabana thing. When something is flat, then like a wood piece, then your mind is not going to hold into that one. If there is some sort of pattern in the wood piece, then you are looking at how there is a pattern. So if there is nothing in that one, it's like a flat thing and no patterns, then there is nothing for your mind to hold. So this is what you need to do in the meditation. And drive a bulldozer and make the earth sort of flat. That difficulty for us to see the faraway object is because in between we have these trees, houses and so on. So if you take a bulldozer and then, create like a ground, school, playing ground or something, then you can see far away things, a vast area. When you see a vast area, your mind getting concentrated. And this was told to me by Godnatha. He said, when you look at a vast area, your mind get concentrated. And you see this some people are going to the shore and then, look at the sea. And that if there is an island or something, then your mind is going and holding to that one. Let us say there is no island. And then far away you can't even see these waves are falling or not. And you see a vast area. Then you get a concentration. So that is what you should be doing, Take all the elements, element of extension, cohesion, motion, all of them, one element of extension. That is all over here. So then, he discerns that whatever disturbances that would exist based on the perception of human beings are not present. Whatever disturbances that would exist based on the perception of wilderness are not present. There is only this modicum of disturbance, the singleness based on the perception of earth. He discerns that this mode of perception is empty of the perception of human beings. This mode of perception is empty of the perception of wilderness. There is only this non-emptiness, the singleness based on the perception of earth. Thus he regards it as empty of whatever is not there. Whatever remains, he discerns as present. There is this. And so this, his entry into emptiness, according with the actuality, is undistorted in meaning and pure. So again, undistorted means he knows that it is only element, dhatu, the element of extension, that's all. So when we say that we take a bulldozer and then, running, what we meant is that, that on earth there are these places, hills, gullies, valleys and so on. So you make a flat thing. Even the water is you are taking as a one element of extension. In people's body, this place is above, this place is below and so on. So you are making it like a flat thing, like a wood piece. So that is the part of the meditation over there. And then the infinitude of space, that is base of infinite space. The further Ananda, the monk, not attending to the perception of wilderness, not attending to the perception of earth, attain to the singleness based on the perception of dimension of infinitude of space. His mind takes pleasure, finds satisfaction, settles and indulges in his perception of the dimension of infinitude of space. He discerns that whatever disturbances that would exist based on the perception of wilderness are not present. Whatever disturbances that would exist based on the perception of earth are not present. There is only this modicum of disturbance, the singleness based on the perception of the dimension of infinitude of space. He discerns that this mode of perception is empty of the perception of wilderness. This mode of perception is empty of the perception of earth. There is only this non-emptiness, the singleness based on the perception of the dimension of the infinitude of space. Thus he regards it as empty of whatever is not there. Whatever remains he discerns as present. There is this. And so this his entry into emptiness, accord with the actuality, is undistorted in meaning and pure. So now you can see when you are making this earth flat scenario and far away objects you can see. And so if you keep on doing that one, then you can see now this is the end of the earth and then beyond that one is the space. So by not regarding the elements as not mine, then you can go there. So some people are to do that one, then you should know that the element of extension as element of extension. And then you should have the faith that element of extension is not mine. There shouldn't be any doubt. Some people are saying that when I was actually driving the bulldozer and then a couple of trees left. What that person is talking about, is in front of that him, his daughter or son, baby came in front. And then how can I drive the vehicle? So we are not asking someone to kill. Here we are consider these elements as element. That person sort of fail, because you are saying that everything is not mine. Now this is the beauty. When we are driving the vehicle, earlier you are happy to say excrement is element of extension, it is not mine. When it comes to the baby, oh my baby, and then you take the element of extension as mine. Another person was telling me that a monk came in front of me. And how can I drive the vehicle over the monk? Even if the Buddha is there, you have to do the same. When the king, one of those kings in India, he came and then kissing the Buddha's feet and worshipping him. And then Buddha was asking, that is King Kosala, Buddha was asking, and what's the point of doing this one? Why are you treating this, 32 parts of the body, excrement over here? What we are trying to say over here is that because you put this name part, Buddha. So when you apply that name part to the 32 parts of the body excrement, then you can't exceed it because it's Buddha. But what Buddha is saying, my body is also just excrement, urine and so on. And so why you treat it this way? So even the Buddha is there, you need to consider that is also element of extension, nothing more. So if you can do that one, then you understand the element of extension as element of extension. And the element of extension is not mine. Remember that excrement outside element of extension, it is not mine. Then you are successful. If you are successful in getting rid of that element of extension, then you go to that black space. In a day where there is no moon, there aren't any clouds, far away you see this 1 or 2 stars, that is the space is infinite. So we also learn another way to reach this one. Remember we learned that if you know envy, and if you know the arising phenomena for this envy as the derogation, makka, then if you get rid of the envy, then you can go to space is infinite. And then I can tell you another method that the Buddha says, with the complete transcendence of perception of forms, with the passing away of perception of sensual impingements, with non-attention to perception of diversity, that one is entering and abiding in the perception of base of infinitude of space. So the space is infinite level of concentration. So here we are talking about with non-attention to perception of diversity. In Pali it's nanatta sanya amanisikara. So for you to exceed the form, you need to exceed what is inside our mind regarding the form. That is this perception of diversity. Now it is something like this, let us say that a person, a businessman, now that person is old, so then he is actually giving his sons and daughters, you do this part of the business, you do that part of the business, and so on. Now you can see, even if the daughter can't do, if one of those sons are doing better, then his business will thrive. So here we are talking about daughters and so on, we are talking about perception, feeling, that sort of thing give rise to consciousness. So if you don't give value to those things, then you can exceed. You can't exceed the form because of you are giving value to the feeling that arises depending on the form. Similarly, the perception. So it's like that you have some sort of a, ink brush or something from right side from the consciousness, you are coming back to physical nutriment, marking them, with white or whatever color. If you are not doing that one, then it is possible to exceed this one. And it's also with the passing away of perception of sensory impingements. The sensory impingements, my grandfather could not get rid of that one. Each time he is going to eat, he is actually complaining, that this food is not tasty. So he is not eating for the sake of maintaining the body, he wants happiness as well. So that is the sensory impingement. And with the complete transcendence, the perception of forms. So you need to transcend this perception of forms. Now you can do that one when you actually find the form is insignificant. So in other words, let's say when you look at an ant, you look the other way around. When you look at elephant, you look at, elephant is like this one, how it is shaking and so on. So when it is small, you can exceed it. So for that one, you can say, take a girl and a boy. Let us say they are, in the slope of a mountain slope. And then the boy is like leaving the girl, boy is climbing up the mountain. Halfway through, when he look at the girl, then that person sort of exceeds sort of a signs and features of that girl. Because if he can't see much. And if you go to the top of the mountain, he can't even determine whether, cow dung is there or a girl is there. So exceeding further. Now send this boy to the far away to a star. So from here, if you look at, star is small. But if you look at from the star, then the earth is very small. It's like a dot. If the earth is small, then the houses in that one is very small. And the people living inside also are very small. So that means insignificant. In that case, you can exceed. That way also you can go to spaces infinite. So when you go there, you are exceeding the form. That is, you are exceeding the craving for sensuality. So the craving for sensuality path is this, first path over here. The physical nutriment path, you are exceeding that one. And then you are in the knowledge path, that the shortest path, mindfulness to emptiness, from the emptiness to wisdom, and then you are coming to mindfulness. That's where you are at this particular time. Because you are in spaces infinite. And then, next one is the perception of the base of infinite consciousness. Further, Ananda, the monk, not attending to the perception of birth, not attending to the perception of the dimension of the infinitude of space, attend to the singleness based on the perception of the dimension of the infinitude of consciousness. His mind may take pleasure, find satisfaction, settles, and indulge in its perception of the dimension of infinitude of consciousness. He discerns that whatever disturbances that would exist based on the perception of earth are not present. Whatever disturbances that would exist based on the perception of the dimension of infinitude of space are not present. There is only this modicum of disturbance, the singleness based on the perception of the dimension of the infinitude of consciousness. He discerns that this mode of perception is empty of the perception of earth. This mode of perception is empty of the perception of the dimension of the infinitude of space. There is only this non-emptiness, the singleness based on the perception of the dimension of the infinitude of consciousness. Thus he regards it as empty of whatever is not there. Whatever remains, he discerns as present. There is this. And so this his entry into emptiness, accord with actuality, is undistorted in meaning and pure. So, to go into the consciousness is infinite state of attainment, then one should know the impermanence of feeling, that arising from the perception of base of infinite space. So, since you are in the space is infinite, there is a feeling associated with that one. So you need to see the impermanent nature of that one. I am pursuing the space is infinite. There is a feeling. I should know that arising and passing away phenomena of that feeling. So that means it is impermanent. If you are successful in doing that one, then you see a light. That light is your light. You see in our forehead, the right side over here is the faculty of wisdom. And the left side is the faculty of mindfulness. And those faculties illuminated, and then there is this light. So you see sort of a light, something like, some first timers sort of would see. It's as let us say that there are clouds. To those clouds, there are some bulbs. You can't see the bulbs, but you can see the light. Or maybe someone is using a torch and light is spreading, and you can't see the torch, but the light is there. It's like that, space is infinite. Inside that one, there is this light. So if you have the attainment of space, consciousness is infinite, that person would see sort of differently. He would see this black space. He would see this light is there in between, in the middle. And if that person normally, if someone hasn't got attainment, when he look at the light, by any chance if he were to see this outside, that is space is infinite, black area, then you will be fallen from the consciousness is infinite to space is infinite. It's like that when you are meditating, someone is making some sort of a curry, smell is coming up, you are actually thinking, what is it? What is this curry? So that is the problem for a non-attainer of this level, that he will be fallen. So if you have attainment, what is called samapatti, then you can stay there. You can see the black space, but you still have the concentration to the light over there. So in this particular moment, you are in this particular line, mindfulness to the emptiness. That is the sixth jhana. You also learn another way for going to this consciousness is infinite level of attainment. Remember, we learn in Vattupama Sutta, if you know derogation, makka, and if you know what it is stemming from, that is cause, so then you can, the cause is anger. So if you get rid of the derogation, then you can go to the consciousness is infinite level of attainment. And there is another way, an easy way. So if you get this idea, that we managed to get this Dhamma because from these Arahants in the Akanita Brahma realm, they help us giving these diagrams and so on. So if you pay gratitude to them, then it's very easily you can go into space, consciousness is infinite level. And you will see their light as well. You can do the same by, paying gratitude to the Buddha. But the problem is, Buddha is no more. For you to do that one, you should know one more Dhamma. That is by seeing Tathagata, then you see Dhamma. By seeing teaching, you see Tathagata. Yo Dhammam Passati, yo Mam Passati. So today, Buddha is not there. So only by seeing the Dhamma, teaching, then you see that one. But the Arahants are there. So if you are paying your gratitude to them, then what you are doing is you are actually again taking away this derogation, because you are recalling the qualities, and that is paying gratitude. So that's another way of going there. And now this consciousness, our consciousness is getting established because we are letting the dependent origination to occur. There are 12 links of dependent origination. The ignorance as condition. Volitional formations come to be. Sanskar. Volitional formations as condition. Consciousness come to be. The consciousness as condition. Name and form. So along the way, you can say because of the existence, there is birth. Because of birth, there is aging. So there are 12 links over there. So your consciousness getting established anywhere because we are letting this dependent origination to occur. So Buddha's knowledge is so vast. Buddha is telling that you do not need to know all these 12 links, but if you know this particular link, if you have the understanding, then you can go beyond this. Consciousness is infinite. What is that? That is because of the contact, the feeling come to arise. With the cessation of contact comes the cessation of feeling. In other words, the feeling is impermanent. Because you can see that one in this diagram. Because of the contact, feeling come to arise. With the cessation of contact comes the cessation of feeling. Buddha gave an example as well. Just you take 2 wood pieces, rub them together, then there is a heat. When you are separating, you don't get it. So whatever the feeling that arose depending on the contact will cease with the cessation of contact. So that means feeling is impermanent. So therefore, you can go from this consciousness is infinite to plane of nothing. The 7th jhana. That is from wisdom to this number 10 over here. So that means we are looking at this impermanency of feeling over here. So that is what is mentioned next. So it says perception of base of nothingness. Further Ananda, the monk not attending to the perception of the dimension of the infinitude of space, not attending to the perception dimension of infinitude of consciousness, attend to the singleness based on the perception of the dimension of nothingness. His mind takes pleasure, finds satisfaction, settles and indulges in his perception of dimension of nothingness. He discerns that whatever disturbances that would exist based on the perception of the dimension of the infinitude of space are not present. Whatever disturbances that would exist based on the perception of the dimension of the infinitude of consciousness are not present. There is only this modicum of disturbance, the singleness based on the perception of the dimension of nothingness. He discerns that this mode of perception is empty of the perception of the dimension of infinitude of space. The mode of perception is empty of the perception of the dimension of the infinitude of consciousness. There is only this non-emptiness, the singleness based on the perception of the dimension of nothingness. Thus he regards it as empty of whatever is not there. Whatever remains he discerns as present. There is this. And so this is entry into emptiness according with the actuality is undistorted in meaning and pure. So now, remember we were here in this 6th jhana. So over there we are actually looking at the feeling is conditionally arising, that there is this arising phenomena, passing phenomena. That is depending on the contact, feeling come to arise. So when you understand that one, that means you are saying feeling is impermanent. So by that time you are actually exceeding the existence, craving for existence. That is bhavatanha. The bhavatanha or craving for existence is this path. Contact as nutriment. So you are exceeding and then you are going to the 7th jhana from number 10 to the wisdom. So that is what is called plane of nothing. So you see that Buddha is saying there are these 6 elements. That is the element of extension, element of cohesion, element of motion, element of heat, and the space is infinite, consciousness is infinite. Now if you get rid of all the 6 elements, what you left with? Nothing. No thing. And that is called plane of nothing. So when you go to this plane of nothing, by understanding this feeling is impermanent, then how do you see that one? You sort of see, remember that I was talking about that there was in the 6th jhana, there was this light, a beam of light. Let us say we split it, scatter it. So there is one light drop somewhere and another one somewhere far away, spread around the space. So it's sort of little bit illuminated than the space is infinite. And then you also feel from your head, from the right side, this is the, the faculty of wisdom over here, and that one is open, sort of connected with the space, like a skull is open. So that's sort of a feeling you get. You can go there by another way, that is by getting rid of fraud, sateya. We learned that one when we were discussing Vattupun Sutta. And another way of arriving at this plane of nothing is that what is called Shunyamidang Atteinava Atteninava. That empty of self and what belong to self. Remember we discussed this morning as well with the Sila Sutta. And if you haven't even put a brick, then you can't say that there is a house. So since you are not marking from anything, so therefore you can go into this plane of nothing, 7th jhana, by taking it as empty. So many people with the attainment, they are saying that, I did not get any rapture or pleasure or anything. I took that, form, feeling, perception, volitional formation and consciousness. None of them are mine. And then all of a sudden I went to sort of my mind expanded. I went to some sort of emptiness. What that person is saying is right. You see that Buddha said this one in Ananda Sappaya Sutta, and that is the second method of arriving at plane of nothing. But also, although it is second method, that it has got this more knowledge, because the stream entry, once return, that sort of knowledge is there. That's why he managed to take nothing is mine. You don't need to go from first jhana to second jhana to third jhana to go over there. Just imagine a monkey is going in arms round, and then that person see a beautiful woman is coming up, and let us say that this person is now starting to say hair of the body, nails, teeth, skin and so on. Now 32 parts, when you do that one, you can see, the whole thing has happened. You don't need to do that one. At once you can go to liberations as well, when you made the practice. So, that is the third method of arriving at that one. So, if someone has got the, if someone is entering and abiding in this base of nothingness, so that is what you are talking about, samapatti. You need to enter and you can abide without falling to that one. That sort of person would see a different picture. That we see that hat in the street that to separate vehicles, road. So there is this cone and there is this top, there is hat. So you normally, if you have this attainment, you would sort of see the top of the hat, that part, as black. The cone type area, you will see sort of with the light, because this plane of nothing, the light of the plane of nothing is more compared to the consciousness is infinite, whatever the light there is. So that is the black part is, the consciousness is infinite. Around it he can see the plane of nothing, light of the plane of nothing. So sometimes people get confused about this one as well. Some people are saying that someone with a beautiful eye was looking at me when I was doing meditation. It is not that someone is looking at you, that was your mind-made body, the eye of the mind-made body. When your mind becomes pure, you can see your own mind-made body. That eye is sort of beautiful and bigger compared to yours. So it's like same, you can see here we have in the eye black and around it white. So some people get confused because of this. But one can easily determine this is not the I am talking about, this is the entering and abiding in the base of nothingness. Now here, we are in the 7th jhana, plane of nothing. We mentioned 3 methods of arriving at that one. So what is the difference between the consciousness is infinite and the plane of nothing? So Sahampati Mahabrahma said, the consciousness is infinite means that you have some sort of a wound. It is a bit itchy. And the plane of nothing is, you have the wound, but it is not scratching or itchy sort of scenario. Because over here you can see the feeling is there. So then you feel, you feel like scratching the wound and sort of scenario. Over here there is no feeling. And the Buddha is saying, some people are saying it as a vomit. The 7th jhana as the vomit. Like this cow taking the food inside and then vomit it and then eat again and so on. Because it has got 2 perceptions. See, there is this perception before you enter the 7th jhana. And then you can see the red line over here and the sickness. That is the perception. So that is, there is the pre-perception and the post-perception. And post-perception over here is sick. So some people call it vomit. So now we are going to go beyond that perception. Further on, Ananda, the monk, not attain to the perception of the dimension of the infinitude of consciousness, not attain to the perception of the dimension of nothingness, attain to the singleness based on the dimension of neither perception nor non-perception. His mind takes pleasure, finds satisfaction, settles, and indulges in the dimension of neither perception nor non-perception. He discerns that whatever disturbances that would exist, based on the perception of the dimension of the infinitude of consciousness, are not present. Whatever disturbances that would exist, based on the perception of the dimension of nothingness, are not present. There is only this modicum of disturbance. The singleness based on the dimension of neither perception nor non-perception. He discerns that this mode of perception is empty of the perception of the dimension of infinitude of consciousness. This mode of perception is empty of the perception of the dimension of nothingness. There is only this non-emptiness, the singleness based on the dimension of neither perception nor non-perception. Thus he regards it as empty of whatever is not there. Whatever remains he discerns as present. There is this. And so this his entry into emptiness, accord with the actuality, is undistorted in meaning and pure. You see, this particular person, now you don't like the perception either. This person was, along the way giving up so many things. Went to the alms round, saw women, come back to the temple, didn't take any one of them with him from his mind, because he has the contemplation, no mindfulness regarding the body. And then he found there is this temple. The temple has got the material over there, that is the element of extension. And there are monks. Monks are also the element of extension. So then he was driving this bulldozer type thing, he considered all of them are element of extension, nothing more. So he went to this, his mind was, has the resolution for element of extension, Patavi. And then he managed to exceed that element of extension, that disregarding this thing as not mine, and he was successful in doing so. So he went to space is infinite. So in the space is infinite, there was a feeling associated with the space is infinite. So he was thinking this is also impermanent. Therefore he managed to go into the consciousness is infinite. So he was here in the finiteness to emptiness. And then he found there is this feeling. From this pure, consciousnness is infinite level, you also understand this is pressure, this is displeasure, this is neither pleasurable nor displeasure. So having understood that one, he understood the arising and passing away phenomena of feeling, that depending on the contact, feeling come to arise. With the cessation of contact comes the cessation of feeling. So feeling is impermanent. So now he went to 7th jhana, plane of nothing. And he was here from the number 10 to wisdom. Now he find, let us say you are going to this plane of nothing by saying that none of these things are mine. Empty of self and empty of what belongs to self. It's like that you are in the middle of this room and saying these projectors, computers, whatever people over here, none of them are mine. But although you say that none of them are mine, isn't there a sort of perception exists within you that they are not mine? So now this person does not like that perception either. So now he contemplates the impermanence nature of perception, arising and passing away phenomena. When you do that one, then you can go to the neither perception nor non-perception. But he did not actually see this perception as completely impermanent. He saw to a certain extent. To what extent? Whatever the volitional formations that you construct out of this perception, they are not mine. He see the perception is impermanent, but to the extent that whatever I construct from this perception, volitional formations, they are not mine. One good example is, let us say, a carpenter got 3 pieces of wood, and 2 of them are fine, the other one bit rotten, insect bites and so on, things damage one. He didn't have a choice, he constructed table. To the right leg, he would now see, that insect bites are there. It might be broken. Early days, carpenters, when they construct the table, underneath you can see they have written their name and the date. Now this person is not going to label it. He is not going to put his name over there because this one is going to break. So this carpenter's wood piece is the perception. He saw 2 of them are fine, 1 is bad. So permanency not seen to the greatest extent. And so what the carpenter constructed, volitional formation, is the table. So he is not regarding the table as mine, but it was constructed from the perception. That is the wood piece. So if you know up to that level, then you can go to the 8th jhana. 8th jhana is from, this is mindfulness to wisdom. It says neither perception nor non-perception. Why is it neither perception nor non-perception? See that perception over here? When you are entering the 8th jhana, there is this perception. But this 6th perception down below is not there for that line. So that is neither perception nor non-perception. When you go there, it's like you are sleeping. You are meditating, you are very active, and all of a sudden you do not know, then you are coming back like that one. So that does not mean that, when you are sleepy and you are meditating, then you went to, you are sleeping, that means I went to 8th jhana. But that is you can differentiate between the two. Before entering the 8th jhana, you are active. You are considering perception in the arising and passing away phenomena. So when you are coming out of the 8th jhana also, you are there. Into that you are falling back to the meditation. So when you go to the 8th jhana, you cannot think, because you are in the remainder of volitional formations. You are not making any new volitional formation, because there is no perception, isn't it? It's, perception is there, but it is very thin, for example. It's not great, because neither perception nor non-perception level. So when you are coming out of it, you see quite a lot of pictures. You are seeing, some maybe part of a mouth, maybe a head part, or maybe a leg, or something, body parts sort of scenario. Those are snapshots of your past births. If you try to sort of recognize them and spend time or something that one, then you are fallen from the 8th jhana. Because your perception is at this particular level is very subtle, very thin sort of scenario, you tend to go back to the 8th jhana again and again. So when you are coming back, you again see those pictures. Now there is a danger in over here as well. If someone is not an attainer, stream enter once written or something, someone like that one, let us say you see a picture from sensual desire one that you used to have, and as soon as you see, you are going shopping, to the hell, because that is the place they are mostly available. You are going there. That's why Buddha said that most of the beings born in the 8th jhana level, and this is true for all the planes apart from the pure abodes, that most of them are being born in hell, animal realm, or plane of departed. Just because you are the 8th jhana does not mean that you are going to be there after death. Most of them are going, because you see so many 84,000 great eons you were there, not looking at those forms. At once you see one of those your past ones straight away, because you had enough. Perhaps for 84,000 eons I was away from that, then let me come back, or something like that. So that is the danger. So not to speak about these human beings who are always thinking, people are saying, I'm having an innocent life, I am not harming anyone, I am doing my job, and then that's on, I am not going to hell. But that is, we are talking about a person who is thinking and pondering all the time. The other person was not even thinking and pondering in the 8th jhana, but that person is also going. So now we learn that you are in the 8th jhana, over here, mindfulness to wisdom. And if you are, there is another way of reaching that one. That is, if you are getting rid of disparaging, then you can go over there. Remember, we learned that disparaging palasa, and what is it stemming from. And then we discuss if you are getting rid of disparaging, that you can go into this 8th jhana concentrations. Next one is the themeless concentration. Further, Ananda, the monk, not attentive to the perception of the dimension of nothingness, not attentive to the perception of the dimension of neither perception nor non-perception, attend to the singleness based on the themeless concentration of awareness. His mind takes pleasure, finds satisfaction, settles and indulges in its themeless concentration of awareness. He discerns that whatever disturbances that would exist based on the perception of the dimension of nothingness are not present. Whatever disturbances that would exist based on the perception of the dimension of neither perception nor non-perception are not present. And there is only this modicum of disturbance that connected with 6 sensory spheres. dependent on this very body with life as condition. He discerns that this mode of perception is empty of the perception of the dimension of nothingness. This mode of perception is empty of the perception of the dimension of neither perception nor non-perception. There is only this non-emptiness that connected with six sensory spheres, dependent on this very body with life as condition. Thus he regards it as empty of whatever is not there. Whatever remains he discerns as present. There is this. And so this his entry into emptiness, accord with the actuality, is undistorted, in meaning and pure. So here we are talking about themeless concentration. Sometimes it says signless abiding. The signless abiding, and it is actually another word for that one is prajna vimukti, that is liberation due to wisdom. So the liberation is due to wisdom, and we would be marking that one over here, where we have the wisdom over here. And signless means there is no sign of permanency. So that is signless abiding. So at that particular moment, your forehead, right side, you feel that it is active. That is the liberation due to wisdom. So how do we go there? We go into the seventh jhana, and then we contemplate the arising and passing away phenomena of perception. So that means it is impermanent. So if you fully understand the perception is impermanent, then you are coming to this signless abiding, or the liberation due to wisdom. For you to understand this liberation due to wisdom, let us say that you are walking on a street, and then normally, after a little while, you get the idea, having seen someone or something, oh, this is also impermanent. It took some sort of a gap. There was a gap between you seeing the object and then realizing this one. Now let us say you have been practicing in the morning to afternoon, arising and passing, the phenomena of perception. And then when you go there, when you see that person or something, also you are seeing arising and passing. So that means impermanent. So at once it is there. So that is the liberation due to wisdom, and then you can see this forehead right side is active. For you to be there, then you got to have this what is called sampajana, that you got to have the clear comprehension. So the clear comprehension is, if I am explaining it, is like this on. You know that we have a sort of a stick. That stick is arising phenomena. One seek delight, one will come, one remain holding to it. By doing that one, delight arises. Because of the delight, we got clinging. Clinging as condition, existence. Existence as condition, birth. So there is one stick, and that is arising, part of the phenomena. And there is now other part, that passing away phenomena. One does not seek delight, does not welcome, does not remain holding. So therefore there is no delight. Cessation of delight comes the cessation of clinging. Cessation of clinging comes the cessation of existence. As the cessation of existence with the cessation of birth. So that is the passing away phenomenon. Now let us take these two sticks together and consider it as a one stick. This is arising part, this is passing away part. Now you are saying, if there is no craving, the whole stick would disappear. To understand that one, that is sampajana, that is clear comprehension. For you to understand that one, we can have a simple example. Now, when do you stop eating? Is it when your stomach is full, or you don't have craving? Sometimes people are saying, when my stomach is full, I am not eating. But somebody is actually giving this curd and honey sort of scenario. Then you are, take that one and eat. So that means although stomach is full, you are still taking it. But if you don't have craving, then you are saying, I don't want it. Another example is that a tiger. Tiger is not eating like we are. We are eating, 3 or 4 meals a day. But the tiger would eat a meal and then for 2 days or so, with his legs upward, sun rays and coming. So even a little creature is running around, by that time it's not going to bother, kill that one. So because there's no craving at that particular time for this food scenario. So similarly, the craving is not there, then the whole state arising and passing go away. So that is what is called sampajano, clear comprehension. So from that one, then it has to support us to be on this, the liberation due to wisdom. Otherwise we will be fallen. So it is that something like, that lotus leaf. If there is water coming to that one, it's not lasting, it's going out. So the mindfulness is there in that sense. So that is the liberation due to wisdom. And there is another liberation, which we discussed in the morning as well. That how do we arrive at this liberation due to wisdom? Perception is impermanent. And then if you take perception is not mind, then you can go into this liberation due to, it is called liberation due to mind. That is called Cheto Vimukti, void abiding. So you see that liberation due to wisdom, when you have the liberation due to wisdom, can someone become arrogant for that one? When you have the liberation due to wisdom? Normally you would think no, but it is not so. Let us say that you go into this liberation due to wisdom, and after that one, having eaten, after meal you go and tell your friend, that I went to this liberation due to wisdom, I was feeling my, right side of the forehead and it was really good. And then the other person is saying, I have been meditating for 14 years now. For a moment I could not go there. So now this person is thinking, that person can't, I can. So there is some sort of arrogance. So this one is also construction. Liberation due to wisdom is also a construction. So then when you understand it's a construction as construction, then you tend to disregard as it is not mine. So then you can go to the liberation due to mind. Shunyata Cheto Vimukti. So it is in the number 10. For that means perception is not mine. For you to be there, then you got to have the help of this one. That is this Chanda Samadhi. So your mind should be focused onto this Nibbana. At this particular moment, you would feel this way. I said your forehead, right side is the faculty of wisdom. Left side is the front, left side is the faculty of mindfulness. From the behind, right side is the faculty of effort, virya. And from the left side, forehead, back of your head is the faculty of concentration. So from the right side, from the effort, it is something is coming to the left side and connecting over here. And then you feel the left side of the whole face as pleasurable. And that is what is called Cheto Vimukti, liberation due to mind. That is number 10. So we learn 2 liberations over here. And there is another liberation. That is called desireless abiding. In Pali it is Appanita Cheto Vimukti. How do we go there? We go there by understanding suffering, the perception as suffering. So for you to understand that, then you need to have the understanding of this, the meditation we did about this the 4 nutriment meditation, then over there you can see physical nutriment, and then you are actually coming to birth. And then you are contact as nutriment, you are coming to aging. And then the volition as nutriment, you are coming to sickness. And the consciousness as nutriment, you are coming to death. So we went to zigzag path, but where have we been? We went from birth to aging, aging to sickness, sickness to death. If you do that one, then you get this measureless state of equanimity arising when you come to up to that one. Now let us say we are looking one step backward. You know that we are coming from the death, we are going to sickness. Now if you do that one, then you get the plane of nothing, 7th jhana. So this one is look at this particular scenario. You are already sick, and then you are going to death. After death, you are going thinking about to be born again. That means going to birth, right? So only sick person can do that one. Why? Because you are sick and you died, and then you are going to be sick again. So that's why Buddha said, anyone other than an Arahant is a sort of a mad person. Because you are sick and you are going to death, and then you are going back to sickness. So if you understand this one, that means we are doing the meditation in reverse now. We went forward, birth to aging, sickness, death. Now from the death we are going back to sickness. Now if you do 3 of them, that is from lamentation, you are going to sorrow. Not getting what one wants, you are going to union with what is displeasing. If you do that one reversely, then you can get the liberation due to plane of nothing. There is plane of nothing, and there is liberation due to plane of nothing. How do you do that one? You see, when you say not getting what one wants, means what is the definition of that? You see, someone is sick, that person is thinking, it is really good if I am not subject to sickness. But that person is subject to sickness because of the aging and so on. So in other words, sickness is there in not getting what one wants. It is inside this term. So that person is now putting effort, some sort of effort, to go into the union with what is displeasing. All the time we are doing this one. We are putting effort to go to have the company with what is displeasing. One good example is maybe on a Sunday afternoon that you are, maybe after lunch, your cat is there as well. And then, you are looking at, all of a sudden you remember, tomorrow I have to do this particular job in the office. I have to present something. And then you remember, for that presentation, that bad guy is also coming. He's always asking these questions, try to do harm. I actually treated him very well. And now he is treating me this way. And little while later you remember, not only to me, that person did the same thing to the other person as well. So you are digging, like you are digging while in the sand you are digging. When you dig more and more, what are you getting? Union with what is displeasing. This is what we do most of the time. You have a happy moment, and then you are digging and finding faults in other people's, then you get the union with that is displeasing. And from the lamentation to sorrow, you are not going, you are running. You are running. You are running in the sense, let us take a simple example that let us say you are doing this, paddy fields, you are constructing, some sort of a water thing to prevent it going from one section to the other. Sometimes it's called bunt sort of scenario. Then you have made it, and then you are tired. So now you came to have a cup of tea, and then you just made the cup of tea and go and sit down. Then another person is coming with a beard, with a beetle leaves in his mouth and, with a sarong and coming over there, smiling at you and, like laughing and say, the one that you made, it's already broken. So now you are very upset because you have a conceit, all the other people did that job and it's okay, the one that I did is broken. So now what you are thinking? Because of your conceit, you are actually thinking, I will go and fix it, I will put cement this time, not the muddy things over there. So that's how we do. We run from the lamentation to sorrow. So if you have three things done, in reverse, from the death to sickness, lamentation to sorrow, not getting what one wants to, union with what is displeasing, then what you have is liberation due to pain of nothing. And if you go 3 terms further backward, sickness to aging, sorrow to sadness, union with what is displeasing to separation from what is pleasing. If you do that one, then you get the abiding in plane of nothing. That is called Akinchana Samapatti. Abiding in plane of nothing. You are not shaking, you are there. You are not getting out of it. Normally you will fall, you can be there. So how do you do that part? You see, you understand this aging, sadness, then we get union with what is displacing. So therefore, sadness is there inside the union of what is displacing. So what is sadness means? Sadness means there was something pleasant. That's why I am sad. So then I am thinking that there is something pleasant, then I get a determination. Let me go there. So I am going to, from union with what is displeasing to separation from what is pleasing. There is a determination. But what do you get? You would get complete the same thing again and again. Because you see, the separation of what is pleasing is, who had a birth, baby type body, subject to aging, sickness and death, and you are in the mind-made body, you have not eaten many days, so there is this pain. So that is where you are ending up. Although you are saying that there is a pleasant thing, what you are ending up with this scenario, birth and pain. Again you will be on the same boat. So if you do that one, you get the abiding in pain of nothing. And if you go 3 words backward, aging to birth, sadness to pain, and separation from what is pleasing to distress. If you do that one, then you get the desireless abiding, appanita ceto vimukti. At that time you will sort of feel, there's mindfulness over here, faculty of mindfulness, left side, and then you have this, the faculty of effort, back of your head. So it will sort of join like a split, and you feel like the skull is open over there. Normally you would see the skull is open, then it is sort of, skull is split mean painful, but this is not painful. Buddha is saying, and this is the highest one, out of the liberation due to wisdom, liberation due to mind. And this is the best one out of those 3. So how do you actually do this part? You can see birth, pain, we get the separation from what is pleasing. So that means that pain is that I have not eaten for many days, right? Now where you are going back to? To the distress. Remember this Kodupayasa in the Potaliya Sutta? The anger, that part. So here you can't live with the fruit. You can live without throwing away the fruit as well. But here we are talking about I want to live. So you are ending up with the same basket, isn't it? So understand in that one. So in other words, what you have looking at now is that forward and reverse, the suffering part. So if that means completely you understand suffering. So therefore you get the desireless abiding. So all the liberations you can see now by contemplating about the suffering. That's all. So for these people are saying negative. This is not negative, this is positive. More and more you know about the suffering part, then more and you get the liberation. So we learn now the 3 liberations, and I can show you in a sort of a diagram that how do we know that perception is impermanent, then liberation due to wisdom. Perception is not mind, then you get the liberation due to mind. And then if you take this desireless abiding, that is perception is suffering. So this one actually showing you sort of a trident over here. You see that there is the trident where you can attach a pole or something is over here with the effort, and then to the right side then we get the comprehension, and then from the comprehension to the wisdom. So that is the one side of the trident. And then the left side you can see from the effort to this desire, concentration due to desire, and then from that on you are coming to the number 10. So that is the left side of the trident. So in the middle there are 2 lines, one coming from the mindfulness and the other one coming from the effort, so that you can sort of the middle part of the trident. Or else you can see there is this a girl over here. That girl's head is the physical neutral one, and the right side of that gown is, that dress is, you can see that is the liberation due to wisdom, and the left side is the liberation due to mind, and the 2 legs are over here. For this girl there is a hat. That hat is not attached to this one. That is the Nibbana. Nibbana is apart from all these liberations. The liberations are not the Nibbana. So now you can see this is your head, isn't it? This diagram is completely your head. If you take this diagram and put you on the top of your head, the left side come aligning with the mindfulness, and the back side is with the effort, and then it is splitting, in the middle. So we learn 3 liberations, and then let us go back to the discourse. Then over here saying that although you have these liberations, then when you are hungry you need to stop, right? So that is what it says. What is there is that disturbance is connected with 6 sensory spheres, depending upon this very body. And then we talk about the release. Further, Ananda, the monk not attending to the perception of dimension of nothingness, not attending to the perception of dimension of neither perception nor non-perception, attend to the singleness based on the themeless concentration of awareness. His mind takes pleasure, finds satisfaction, settles, and indulge in the themeless concentration of awareness. He discerns that this themeless concentration of awareness is fabricated and mentally fashioned. In other words, liberation due to wisdom is conditioned and volitionally produced. And he discerns that whatever is fabricated and mentally fashioned is inconstant, that is impermanent and subject to cessation. For him, thus knowing, thus seeing, the mind is released from the effluent of sensuality. Those are the taints. The effluent of becoming, effluent of ignorance. With release, there is knowledge, release. He discerns that birth is ended, the holy life fulfilled, the task done. There is nothing further for this world. So here, what we say here is that, you go into the liberation due to wisdom. Having gone there, then you understand this liberation due to wisdom is also conditioned, and it is produced by volitional formations, volitionally produced. So if something is volitionally produced, then it is impermanent and then subject to cessation. So here you see, remember we were talking about that there are 12 links in the dependent origination. Ignorance as condition, volitional formations as condition, consciousness, going down, birth as condition, aging. So now this person is aware that this liberation due to wisdom is also, holding my mind because of these 12 links. And he discerns that if the craving is not there, this whole thing will disappear. And he also understands this craving which is outside is not the same thing as the craving inside in the dependent origination. You see, dependent origination has, you taste something, you have contact, so you get the feeling. Because of the feeling there is the craving. Now he understands it is not this craving over here. But it is not completely apart from that craving either. What is here? It is the delight. Nandi. Remember, that one has got 3 components. That is craving for sensuality, craving for existence, craving for non-existence. You are now happy to be born again because of the delight. That is Nandi. So, this one is made out of what is inside, but this one is grown greater. You see, when you are in sort of a space is infinite, or consciousness is finite level of attainment, and you live there, the effect of that, by being there, you got this permanency. Because you are living 20,000 great years, 40,000 great years, 60,000 great years, and so on. So, when you are dying, you are not thinking, this is the end of my life. You are actually thinking, I was there before. Then I am going back. Because by mistake I came to this earth. That's how you are actually thinking. So, the effect of this, the craving for non-existence part on the delight is very heavy. So, now understanding this one, he would get rid of this completely. The what is outside, that is the delight thing over here. So, therefore he can destroy cankers, taints. So, at that particular time, what you have is the highest right view. The highest right view is only the third noble truth. That is the cessation part. Now, when the craving ceases, the whole thing ceases. But as you can see, you can understand, the arising part was here, in the dependent origination. So, you understood that one. So, only now it remains that the third noble truth. So, that is the highest level of the right view. Now, at that particular time, he destroyed these cankers. So, then that means you are destroying. Remember, we were talking about craving for sensuality, we get rid of when you are going to space is infinite. And from the consciousness infinite to plane of nothing, we got rid of the craving for existence. And now we are getting rid of the craving for non-existence, that is the mental volition path and the consciousness as neutral path. So, he discerns that is this birth is ended, the holy life fulfilled. The holy life in the sense that, when we say it is fulfilled, that normally when we have cankers, taints, astral, we go from, taint of ignorance to the taint of sensual desires. We go there because the taint of sensual desire, you can remember, it is the false perception of you taking something as pleasurable. So you are going to have the help of that one. For example, maybe you are going in, you are eating, then you feel like, if I get pickle, that would be good for me today, for eating. So that means it is actually giving you some sort of happiness, the pleasure. So you are, go for that support of the taint of sensual desire. So the person who has got ended this thing, get rid of these taints, he is not go after that support of those taints. So it says he discerns that whatever disturbances that would exist based on the effluent of sensuality, effluent of becoming, the effluent of ignorance are not present. And there is only this modicum of disturbance that connected with six sensory spheres, dependent on this very body, with life as its condition. He discerns that this mode of perception is empty of the effluent of sensuality and the becoming and the ignorance. And there is this just non-emptiness that connected with six sensory spheres, dependent on this very body, with life as its condition. Thus he regards it as empty of whatever is not there. Whatever remains he discerns as present. There is this. And so this his entry into emptiness, echoed with the actuality, is undistorted in meaning, pure, superior and unsurpassed. So how does, Arahant who destroy cankers sort of live? The Haberl plant, then that is what is called big-rooted taro plant. So let us say there was this rain and then, more rain and so on. So there is this flooding. So one of those big-rooted taro plant and, taking off from the ground that one leaf and a comb together is moving in this flood stream. And then if this, the thing, this plant is now moving towards the river bank, since in the river bank there are some trees, and although they are covered with water, some leaves are there and it may be falling into this taro plant's leaf. So it gets some sort of a nutriment, and so it will last. So but if this taro plant is now, let us say, go in the river stream in the middle, then no trees or whatever, then it will, no nutriment, then therefore it will die. So how can it actually, die quickly in some sort of a, whirlpool type thing happens? Then it will happen. So I was thinking, let it go to a whirlpool very quickly. And then Mandaladipati Buddhapaya was showing me this taro plant with the leaf, now is coming towards the river bank because you had this volition, So these arahants, they don't use this volition. Then you are actually using the volition to, to have the existence or for the non-existence. They are actually going in arms round. If someone is actually giving them alms food, they will live. If no one is giving, they are happy to, end this one, that is attaining the final Nibbana. So that's how they live. Ananda, whatever contemplatives and Brahmins, who in the past entered and remained in an emptiness that was pure, superior and unsurpassed, they all entered and remained in this very same emptiness that is pure, superior and unsurpassed. Whatever contemplatives and Brahmins, who in the future will enter and remain in an emptiness that will be pure, superior and unsurpassed, they all will enter and remain in this very same emptiness that is pure, superior and unsurpassed. Whatever contemplatives and Brahmins, who at present enter and remain in an emptiness that is pure, superior and unsurpassed, they all enter and remain in this very same emptiness that is pure, superior and unsurpassed. Therefore, Ananda, you should train yourself. We will enter and remain in the emptiness that is pure, superior and unsurpassed. That is what the Blessed One said. Gratified Venerable Ananda delighted in the Blessed One's words. So that is the discourse. So how do we do meditation? And along the way we were actually discussing this one. So a monk is going to a, alms round, and then he sort of see that, in the village there are women, gold and so on. And then he come to the forest grove where they are abiding. So now he did not take any women, any gold or anything like that. How? What they were using? Mindfulness regarding the body. Remember that 32 parts of the body, then you are contemplating arising and passing away, or the dead body arising and passing away. The understanding you got upon by using that one is used over here is just excrement, urine and so nothing more. So therefore it is empty from those women and the gold, silver and so on, but there is non-emptiness because of the monks. Now he sees the building. So building is, you can see, it is the element of extension, Patavi. So the monks are also Patavi, element of extension. So now at that particular time you are driving a bulldozer and then, making this whole earth sort of flat scenario. Then you see a very vast area, you get a concentration. So that is the element of earth, that Patavi, element of extension. Your mind is absorbed into that one, enter and absorb into that one. And then you understand this element of extension as element of extension. And having understood that one, you disregard element of extension as mind. So if you are successful in doing that one, and you don't have any doubt, then you can go to space is infinite. So you see the black space over there. And remember, don't let, any trees, don't leave anyone. If the baby is there or the monkey is there, doesn't matter, you drive the bulldozer and make the whole thing, make a big vast area. And from that space is infinite scenario, we were mentioning another two ways of arriving at that one. One is that you are looking at the envy, and the envy stemming from derogation, and then you got rid of the envy, and then you can go to space is infinite. And also the other method, a girl and a boy in mountain slope, and you are sending one to a star or something like that one. So insignificant, remember, so that you go to space is infinite. At that particular time you have exceeded craving for sensuality over here. You are in this, shortest path in the Jnanapatha, knowledge path. And then you understand the space is infinite, and there is a feeling associated with the space is infinite. Now you pursue that feeling as impermanent. Then you are going to the consciousness is infinite level of attainment. And then you are here from mindfulness to number 10. At that time you see a light that is your light. Some people see green, yellow and so on. And more pure version of that one is white. So then there were another two ways we mentioned. Arriving at this consciousness is infinite. That is, you understand the derogation, and then derogation is stemming from anger. So you get rid of the derogation, you can go to consciousness is infinite. And there was another method, an easy method. If you pay gratitude to those arahants in Akanitta, then you can easily go there. And then we were saying this consciousness is getting established because we are allowing this dependent origination to occur. So here with the Buddha knowledge, Buddha is saying, you don't need to know all of them, but if you know this contact, depending on the contact, feeling come to arise. With the cessation of contact, cessation of feeling. So that is, the feeling is impermanent. So then you can leave the sixth jhana. That means you are getting rid of this craving for existence, and then you are going to the path of craving for non-existence path. That is, you are in the plane of nothing from number 10 to wisdom. And you go there, plane of nothing. I said that, it's when you go there, you see the light scattered around this space, and you feel like your head or head, right side sort of open to the sky, and sort of vast emptiness is there. And in that plane of nothing, then you are actually contemplating the arising and passing away phenomena of perception. So, sanya. So, when you do that one, well, if you are successful to a certain extent, you go to the neither perception nor non-perception. Never sanya, na sanyayatana. Then you are in mindfulness to wisdom. Over there I said that you can't think. Then how do you go there? The perception is impermanent. You know that one to the extent that whatever volitional formations I construct, those volitional formations are not mine. To that extent you have the, perception is impermanent. So when you are coming out of that one, the 8th jhana, you would see these flashes sort of scenario, but you are going back to that one. It's like you are sleeping. So coming out of that level, then let's say you are in the 7th jhana, and then you contemplate the arising and passing away phenomena of perception. When you are successful, then you see it is completely impermanent. Perception is impermanent. Then you are going to this liberation due to wisdom, and your forehead, right side, is sort of becoming active. For you to stay there, this clear comprehension part is the one helping you. And then you regard this perception as not mine, then you come to the liberation due to mind. So what is helping you? The concentration due to desire. Your mind should be focused to the Nibbana. So your left side is sort of pleasurable. And then the perception is suffering. So that is your forward and backward, you are looking at the suffering part, birth, aging, sickness, death to then sickness and so on. So those are the 3 liberations. And then you come to this liberation due to wisdom, and then you understand this liberation due to wisdom is also constructed. I am still allowing the dependent origination to occur. And then you understand there is this Nandi, delight, outside. And so you get rid of the biggest component of Nandi, that is this, because you are existing in plane of nothing and so on. So that permanency part is gone. Then you can destroy cankers. So then we mention how such a person, an arahant living, as Mandaladipati Buddha shown us using that Habarala, that big rooted Tara tree plant scenario. So anyone can do the mindfulness regarding the body part of the meditation, arising and passing these 32 parts. That is the first one, isn't it? The second meditation was you are driving a bulldozer, so anyone can drive a bulldozer. So by doing that one, the element, you take as a one element, dhatu, the element of extension, and then go beyond as you can. So that's the meditation. So let's take 15 minutes or so that we can have discussion, and then we will do the meditation.